Okay, we're talking about graphing linear equations. So there's probably going to be two parts to this video. Make sure you watch them both. Remember to take the Edmodo quiz after. Pause your video anytime you need to write. Go back and re-watch this stuff. Write more than I put. I'm trying to highlight and show you different things, but it's a good idea for you to put more than I have down, so that way you know where the numbers are coming from. Okay, so the first thing we need to know is that a linear equation forms a line. So hopefully that makes sense. Linear equation forms a straight line. Standard form is this: ax plus by equals c. C is constant, a and b are variable terms. It might look something like this. So that could be something that's in standard form. It could be standard form of a function. So it could be, okay, C is how many points I score at a basketball game. I get 2 multiplied by every 2-pointer, 3 multiplied by every 3-pointer, equals C total score. Something like that. If the equation can be written in standard form, it is linear. So I have some examples. All of these examples, these three, all show linear equations. Okay, so those can all be written in standard form. They're all linear. These cannot. And I've highlighted the reason they cannot be, so make sure you remember that. The first one cannot be because it's squared. It has a variable that's squared. That cannot be linear. This one has the variable y in the denominator. In the denominator will not be a linear equation. And this one has an xy. Okay, so you have xy together, so that's a completely separate term, so that would not be a linear equation. Of course, the x-intercept is where the graph crosses the x-axis, and in this spot the y is equal to 0. Y-intercept of the graph crosses the y-axis, and in this spot the x equals 0. We've done that before. You have to have those memorized. So I'm going to go ahead and make that one of the quiz questions. Make sure you take note of that and remember that. Also, you're going to graph using that, so I'm going to make that one of the things that you need to star and make sure to remember. And then remember that all ordered pairs have a specific meaning for the situation. Okay, a line is made up of infinite ordered pairs. It's a bunch of dots that are all together, so there's lots of points on a line and they all have a meaning. Each line has lots of x's and lots of y's, but the pairs go together and have a meaning. So I'll show you an example of that. So you don't need to write this down, but if you would like to, this is not part of your notes, but I wanted to show you just a graph so you could get an idea as we talk about these things of a good example of what something looks like and what we're talking about. So this is a history assignment. So I'm showing a history assignment, and we're going to say that here's your function, and so that means the history assignment is worth 40 points. And every time you miss one, number missed is x, you multiply that by -4 because you get off for every one that you miss. Okay? So here's a graph. Notice I've labeled the x-axis, labeled the y-axis. I have a title just to show you the graph. So if you miss 0, you get 40 out of 40. So the ordered pair 0, 40 has a meaning. 0 missed means I have a 40 of a score. And what if I miss 3? So I have the point here, 3, 28. So 3 missed is a score of 28. So remember that all these ordered pairs have an xy coordinate. So notice how this line has lots of different x's, but they have a different y, so that's what gives it the meaning. If I have the point 6, 16, if I miss 6, I get a 16. So all of these have meaning. A line is made up of all these points. There's lots of other ones I could look at. And the two ones that I want to make sure to point out to you right now are the x and y intercepts. Here is my x-intercept right here. It's where the graph crosses 0, or crosses the x-axis, and my y-coordinate is 0. This means if I miss 10, my score is 0. Here's my y-intercept. It's where the graph crosses the y-axis. This means if I miss 0, my score is 40. So it always has a meaning in the situation. Make sure you watch part 2 of this. We're going to do some example problems. Make sure you go back, look at the things that I said are going to be quiz questions and things you need to highlight.